Hello, my friends, and welcome to Cathy Chat. I love to introduce you to my superstar friends in my dynamic, amazing network. And today you get to meet an author, a networker, and someone with an incredibly inspirational story. You are looking at her right now, the one, the only, Deborah DeWet. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I wanted to let our audience know that we have missed you for several months in our networking circuit, as it feels like several years not having you around, but several weeks turned into a month or two, and now you are back with us networking again. Give us a little bit of history about what was going on recently for you.
Um, Probably about 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, it was so strange. I had just finished eating lunch, doing fine, getting ready to work on my book, and projectile puke happened, just out of the blue. And from there, for the next 6 days, all I did was throw up. Um, and then the seven or 8 days after that, all I did was sweat through my clothes at least 3 times a day. I couldn't sleep in the bed. I was sleeping on the couch, so as not to disturb my husband. And it was quite an interesting journey to take. Um, the only thing I could keep down during the first 6 days were things like kombucha, yogurt, yeah, any those kind of liquids. And I always know if I'm really ill because water tastes very bad to me, which is an odd thing, but it does. So I made myself drink water, but I couldn't get, it just didn't feel good. And then for the next 7 days, I started eating grated apple, grated pear, dried mango I could keep down. And also my husband got for me some high protein vegan milk. And that's what kept me going through the whole thing was drinking and eating that. And then very slowly I could start introducing other things. But not much. It would be like a little bit of rice or something really bland to be able to eat. And after the throwing up, for the days after that, the pain was so excruciating that not even any painkillers helped at all. It just didn't phase it. And I was very, very blessed that I had been doing breathing exercises. It's a specific genre of breathing exercises that I'd started doing to relax my nervous system, especially the vagus nerve. And that is absolutely what saved me from a lot of discomfort and pain, was going into the different breathing patterns. I don't know if you remember, if any of us cry a lot, we get to the point where we're going, and so that is one of the breathing patterns, is the 2 short in-breaths and the long exhale, because that helps the vagus nerve calm down. And that is what helped me through a lot of it. The other thing that helped was humming, because when you hum, you can't think. And so in humming, I couldn't think, oh, this hurts. So I would hum a lot to myself, to just take that thought of, oh, this hurts, out. The other breathing pattern which helps a lot was counting, 4 counts in, 4 counts out. Then I would also use the 4 counts in, turning the head to the one side, 4 counts out, turn to the one side, 4 in, 4 out to the other side, 4 in. And what that does is it helps synchronize your brain and get the 2 hemispheres talking to each other. And that is definitely what got me through what I was going through. I was actually quite nervous because we live in an apartment and we have neighbors, and I know at stages I was moaning so loudly. I thought, oh my God, I hope I'm not disturbing them. But the breathing and being able to notice what was going on with my nervous system when I was tight and be able to relax, that was my saving grace.
Now, first of all, I cannot even imagine when you said that this was 4 or 5 weeks in duration, but when you mentioned when you hum, you can't think. I never actually thought of that. I don't think I knew that before. And I love first of all, being able to share messages with our viewers, but also in terms of, it sounds like you've got a very holistic type of diet already. If you were thinking
Yeah.
in terms of kombucha and vegan this and something else that, so you already have a pretty healthy lifestyle before this even happened.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm so blessed to be married to a man who absolutely loves nutrition, cell nutrition, what needs to happen, what you need to take with what to do, what it needs to do, and what needs to be added to boost it. So he took such good care of me. And the way the whole thing was orchestrated by God and the universe was just so fascinating to me, because when I started getting sick with the throwing up, he had one day left of work and then he was switching to a different job, and he had a whole week off. So the whole week when I was really at my worst, he was available to me 24/7.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a beautiful gift as well, when you were probably feeling perhaps at the worst. Did you anticipate that? Have you ever been sick like this before? And did you anticipate that it could possibly last as long as it did?
I have had it before, not exactly the same, but very similar. When I was a child, I was, I think, in middle school, and I was very ill. They took me to the doctor, and the doctors couldn't fathom out what was going on. And eventually, after having gone to the doctor, not knowing what was going on, my mother decided that either I was putting it on or something. And so it was decided that they wouldn't have anything to do with me until I decided to join the family again.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so we had a maid. It was in South Africa. We had a maid. She would bring me food, and that's the only person that I saw. And it
My
lasted for about a month.
Do you feel that it was spurred by emotion or a virus, or what do you feel brought this
Emotion.
on?
I think
Emotion.
it was, yeah. When I look at what I went through, I do know that a lot of the pain also was emotional pain, working through a lot of my childhood.
And that segues me into the question about all the amazing books that you have written recently, and all of the dredging up, perhaps, of
Yeah.
what got you to be an author of these types of books. So, for many of our listeners who did not know a thing about Deborah DeWet before they hit go today, would you please start at the beginning of, I need to write a book about, and I want to help people this way. Give us a little bit of a journey on that one.
Uh, the first the first book that I wrote was a journal for my granddaughter. And it was really a love letter to her, because I wanted her to get to know herself, to get to love herself, and to get to see herself the way that I see her. Because to me, she's one of the most beautiful creatures that ever hit the planet. And in knowing herself, she could be more stable in who she is going into middle school, so that she had the resilience to be able to have a look and say, is this true about me, what these people are saying, or is it just their opinion? So I wanted her to be armed with the ability to discern what was going on for her.
How old is she?
She's 12.
Okay.
Actually, she's just turned 13. Yeah. So she's in the teenage years.
What did you do before becoming an author? What did that segue look like? Were you already in the writing and publishing type business?
Gosh, I was. My husband and I had a blog for self-esteem. And of course, when COVID hit, that all went south. And yeah, that's where we were. And living in Canada, I'm here. I'm not allowed to work outside the home, so I can't go out and get a job. So it gives me a lot of time to be able to write books and put things together. And really, for me, a lot of it is about, I want people to see the beauty of who they are. We tend to really go into the negative and see all the bad things that are going on, the bad things about ourselves. And that can become a really destructive loop. And I want people to, and as kids and parents, but kids, to know how beautiful they are and that they have so much to offer the world, and they don't all have to be the same. And we have people who are scientists, we have kids who are writers, we have kids who love athletics, we have kids who love drama, we have kids who love painting, and all of them are such special gifts to bring to the world.
Now, you were basically starting writing this love note to your granddaughter.
Yep.
What was the transition piece for you that said, maybe I can help other children, other people navigate the self-esteem and confidence issue? How did it turn into a book?
I had been talking about it, and someone said to me, in fact, it was Ian Kingwell said, that's what you should be doing. And the kids need this. So please write it out for the kids. And it started out for girls because she's a girl. Then I was talking to a lot of people doing networking, and the guys would say, well, the boys need it too, you know. And so I was writing one for the boys, and then I realized the boys and the girls have the same kind of questions to answer. And so I created one that is for boys and girls, so it's gender neutral.
Now, how does someone get your book? I want to talk, I know personally that you have a couple more, but how does someone actually get your book? Is that on DeborahDeWet.com or Amazon, or how do they get it?
They can go to DeborahDeWet.com, and that will take them to the link that's on Amazon.
Okay.
Or they can look up my name on Amazon, and it'll show the books that I've written.
Okay. For those of you listening with us and not watching today on Cathy Chat, or certainly on the recording, it's Deborah, DeBorah, DeWet, DeWet. And that way you can go to DeborahDeWet.com, or as Deborah mentioned, you can go directly to Amazon and just type in Deborah DeWet, and you'll see her dynamic opportunity for all of her books right there, almost all. So tell us the next part, the next step, because I know there was book number 2.
Yes. Actually, I had written that book a very long time ago, and it had a totally different name. It was actually for the self-esteem. And I really loved it so much for the parents that I changed it to a journal for the parents. So the parents could model journaling for the kids, so they could have journaling time together. And for the parents, it's very different. And it's just getting them to fall in love with their life again. And one of my favorite pieces in that is they write a love letter to themselves every night, starting out with "Dear Beloved" and their name, counting all the beautiful things and the wonderful things they had done, even things as little as, "I managed to not get so angry with the kids today." That's a win, you know. So
That's a very big win. And so the parents, you've got one for children, teenagers, it sounds like, as far as what would you think, preteens?
preteens.
How preteens,
Mhm.
okay. And then for the parents, and I'm feeling that there's another book in the offing. What is that?
Are you referring to my first time dads?
Uh-huh.
That is,
How was that actually born?
um, I was actually doing a class on writing, and I was looking at genres that were working very well. And that was one of them, and it kind of chose me. It wasn't something I'd ever thought of writing, but I'm really glad that it came about, because I was a labor coach for 15 years.
I did
Um,
not know that.
yeah,
Wow.
and I taught infant massage, and I taught parenting classes at the hospital that I was a labor coach at. And it always, for me, it's very interesting. I often will want to support the supporters. So not necessarily the main person, but the people who are supporting them, because they need support too. And yes, I would be supporting the mom because I was the labor coach, but I would always involve the dad. I would coach through the dad. So if I needed her to focus on breathing and not get lost in the pain, I would make her focus on looking in her husband's eyes and them breathing, but I would be breathing so loud that they could both hear me, so they would follow my breathing pattern. So I was always inclusive of the dads. And it is so delightful and so amazing to me to see how far we've come, with dads being in the labor room, dads wanting to be there, wanting to be the support, wanting to participate and be part of it. And one of the most beautiful things that is going to be part of the book is when my son-in-law and my daughter had their first child. I can remember them looking at their daughter, and they said, "Don't worry, little one. We're a team. We'll figure this out together."
Wow.
And so
That is quite a message right there.
to see families come together like that, to see dads want to support their wife, they know they're not the main feature in what's happening in a birthing situation. One of the pieces I've written in the book is that this book is here to help ensure that you get the Oscar for the best male support in male supporting role, because if the wife knows that her husband is advocating for her, is there for her, will take care of her, will knows what she wants. And that's why birthing plan is so important for both of them to do, and it's in the book. It's so important for them to do this together, because what happens is, when she gets to that part of labor where it's now active labor, the hormones that are being released, the oxytocin and what have you, that has to overtake her. And in that stage, her rational mind isn't there. But if she knows she's got someone supporting you, she can relax into that. And that allows labor to happen so much easier.
The support piece is such a big word, and you mentioned that certainly during the birthing process, including the dads and things like that. I'm also thinking in terms of your illness that you mentioned, you had the support of your husband. The
Yes.
book writing, who was your support structure during the book writing? Like, you can't be an author. You're not. Your content. You're this. You're something. What? Who was your support structure to go? You can do anything you put your mind to. Who was that person?
My husband.
Beautiful.
He is everything I could ever have dreamt of.
We will have to put a big banner up for him on this video so that he knows that he is definitely your person. I love that. That's a beautiful message right off the bat. Now, from a standpoint of first-time dad, does he have a book that is a favorite even of his yet, or all of them work together in his support role, or what does that look like?
He loves all of them. He participates in some of them, like our passion project on the coffee book. A lot of that was him, all his knowledge and what have you. He actually is an incredible author himself.
Wow.
He wants to write children's books, which shows them the power of who they are and trusting themselves. He is a one in a million person. He is one of the most balanced males I've ever come across in my life. In fact, I think he has a much better developed feminine side than I have. Being a single mom, I had to be both. And I had a very masculine, because I was taking care of kids and what have you. But he is incredible.
How long
And
have you guys been married?
we have been married for 6 years. We've
Beautiful.
been together for 10 and married for 6. He is a lot younger than I am, but he's my person and I'm his.
My goodness, I love the mutuality part of that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, we love it. We don't even have to have words. We just look at each other and it's just incredible. And it was only probably, oh gosh, I don't even remember, just a few years ago that I really realized, you know what, I'm loved. I'm really loved. It was the first time that I realized that I was loved for exactly who I am. And it was an incredible feeling.
That's quite a revelation for
Yeah,
many of us, absolutely, to be
yeah.
able to say, I am loved. And that in itself is huge. And to circle back to your health challenge that you've experienced recently, and you said that your husband was your person. Um, have you had a chance yet to speak to him about how he felt? Did he realize that your illness was possibly emotionally triggered, or did he think, "Yikes, we need to go to the doctor"? What was going through his mind during that time?
He is so in tune that he knew exactly and was tracking exactly what was going on. He is someone who can meet a person or just talk to them, and he knows exactly the whole story of what's going on with them.
My goodness. Well,
Yeah,
it sounds like this is definitely a marriage made in heaven. And the fact that you said, I've got so many hashtags for this Cathy chat, my friend, 1 in a million. And you said that. And again, I can see a banner across his chest, 1 in a million. Deborah loves me. And I think that is so magnificent. And the support that each of you has for the other He's an author. You're an author. The children's books, the congruity that you have there is congruency is just so huge for me to be able to witness that. And I really, really, really appreciate you saying yes to Cathy Chat. Before we say farewell today, and of course, I could talk to you literally for hours. You are so multifaceted.
Thank you.
What is a message that you'd like to leave our audience with today, Deborah?
I think one of the biggest things that has really been a revelation to me is to learn to self-regulate. We were not taught that. A lot of us were brought up in families where we were told to just stop crying or get over it, or I'll give you something to cry about, or we'll leave you alone and you learn to regulate. Self-regulation doesn't happen that way. Self-regulation is learned from co-regulation. We need each other. We need to bond with each other. We need to, because that makes us feel safe. And when we feel safe, we can allow our nervous system to relax.
That is beautiful. The self-regulation piece is huge. Are you anticipating a video series, which I can kind of see from a standpoint of how to teach people how to do some of the breathing techniques that you mentioned?
Absolutely. I would love to do that, very much so. It's incredible. It really is. And I really, I was thinking of doing some of that for teaching the teenagers specifically, so that when they're in a situation, they can do a breathing pattern that's not very noticeable, to be able to calm themselves down. Because when you're dysregulated, you can't think straight. And so to be able to get your breathing pattern down, to be able to calm your nervous system down so you can step back and really have a look and assess the situation is very, very important.
Well, now we have something additional to look forward to besides being able to get your books on Amazon. Now we get to look forward to a video series about breathing techniques and how to do that self-regulation piece. I can't even, I mean this with all my heart. I can't thank you enough for saying yes to Cathy Chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friends, for watching today. And definitely, I'm thrilled that you got to have a chance to meet a little piece of Deborah DeWet. And please go to deborahdevet.com and learn more about this lady and definitely the books that she has written. They're available on Amazon. And now we got a little insight into a video series forthcoming to help us all with the self-regulation piece and definitely how to get that breathing technique into something that we can do on a regular basis. Deborah, thank you again for being here.
Thank you. One last thing that I'd like to say is that through this illness, I really learned to love myself more.
Oh my goodness.
And to say, you're doing great, your breathing's good, you're doing fine, you're making it. I'm so proud of how well you're doing. And it really has opened me up a lot.
Wow. Nothing more we can say after that. Goodbye for now, my friends.
Thank you.